How's it? Today is October 28th. It is Friday. Big Friday, going up from what I did last week for 3 kilos each. I am pretty happy with how today went. I did not have any misses for any of my lifts, which is super positive for me. Last week I missed snatch like 88. I missed like 3 times, I think, and I also missed a warm up, which hasn't happened in a very long time. So any amount above that is a positive for me. 91 today for 5 5 or 5 singles, and then 116 for 5 1+1s. And 91, you know, in the grand scheme of things, when I look at how it's been in the last year or whatever, 91's a pretty sizable weight. That is getting up there as far as my like intensity goes. It is not quite 90% if you look at the best snatches I've done, but I don't really look at the top percentage, like the top number that I've snatched, as my top percentage, if that makes sense. Because I don't think I can snatch 105 right now. I might be able to do 100, and if I am able to do 100, and that's like my current max, quote unquote, then that means that today's 91 is more than 90%. It's 91%. So all these things in consideration kind of paint a perspective where I think that this is pretty heavy, you know. Um, all that to say that I'm just generally pretty happy with the way that I performed today. I went back to more of how I used to warm up, where I power everything or a few reps at the beginning of each set up until 70, and then I start going into full snatches. So it felt like I had more semblance of what I normally do. I felt like last week could have worked if I just executed better. I don't know. I think that um, working on the full snatch itself is helpful as far as where I'm looking at executing, you know. I don't think that the power snatch is ultimately the best use of my like um, practice, because it's not what I'm practicing for the lift. I am ultimately trying to just do full lifts, right? So here, that 91, pretty solid. Yeah, they're more or less, give or take, up and down, left and right, uh, similar to that first one. And I think as a lifter, I used to pride myself on the level of consistency that I can put out, and I think today is an indication of that. I am genuinely proud of the work I put out today. So, yeah, here's my fourth rep. Perhaps the most like upright I've been in a long time for that snatch. Yeah. Every time it gets to the third rep or so, third set, third single or so, I get very nervous because I'm thinking, oh shit, like if I do this third one here, some days, so if it's heavier weights, I would cut it off at the third one. But that level of pressure is like that third one is like, okay, I don't know if the rest of these are going to be good if I miss this one. But I was able to do it and turned out pretty well. Pretty happy with the results. A little bit later in the session, Blake showed up. I haven't seen that guy in forever. He's super funny. But yeah, not too much to say about my clean and jerks. I think that I am gaining consistency. I've always been a little bit more confident, actually a lot more confident with my clean and jerk than with my snatch. I have been more consistent overall, generally speaking. If I'm able to snatch or clean it, I'm able to clean it, I'm able to jerk it. So that kind of thought and overall sentimentality is still true in my head. It's just execution wise, it's not as surefire of a thing as it used to be. But yeah, I actually watched a lot of my old videos before I went to the gym today, and I remember how strong I used to be, and I I don't know, I don't like looking at how I used to be because I think that I was stronger, but my technique was not as good. And so, what is that supposed to mean? That's supposed to mean that I shouldn't be lifting as much, but I would lift more. The quality of the reps was definitely not as good, but I was still lifting more. So, you know, give or take, some things are getting better while some things are getting worse. I think my jerks used to be significantly better. It seemed like the way that I moved was my elbows locked out extremely fast, and then because of that, I was able to just maneuver my body under the weights. I'm talking like, what is it, 2022 right now? I'm talking about like in 2016, 2015, 2016. Um, so when I look at my hand there, I'm not. It might look like I'm looking at my wrist. I'm really actually looking at the palm of my hand. It's like the skin in my hand gets squished together, and then when that happens, it's a little bit painful for my hand. But yeah, there's Blake and Keith. 10 for 10, bro. That's what I said. Finished off with my classic pull-ups and GHD sit-ups. Um, yeah, again, super super happy with how I performed today, especially given how poorly I did last week. Um, yeah, not too much else to say. Gonna lift tomorrow on Sunday and figure out how we're moving on from there. But yeah, that would be it for today. Thank you for watching. Shoots.